Okay, everybody, I already made a video on average rate of change, but this is my second try, so it should be a little bit better than the first one. Okay, first of all, I wanted to thank a few students that stood out for me today, specifically Geneva, and she's actually the motivation of this video because I know she was struggling with it. Daniela, keep up the great work. And Angel from period 2, this is you, right? ANAV AL02897, right? Just want to make sure that's you. Just let me know if that's not you, but I'm pretty sure that's you, Angel, from my period 2. The thing I want to say real quick, guys, is what I like to see what Angel and a lot of you have been doing is like you're trying one of the assignments and you only get like, let's say 1 or 2 out of 5. But then you try it again and you try it maybe even a third or fourth time until you get at least 4 or 5 out of 5 right. And that's what I want you to do, because remember, not only are you hopefully reviewing or learning the material, but at the same time you're learning how to use it or do it on a computer, which is a pretty valuable skill in itself. But anyways, this video again is on this right here. I already signed it once before. I don't think I'll sign it again. What's cool about average rate of change, guys, is something I normally don't get to teach in IM3 or IM2, but it's something I've had to teach someone in Trig Pre-Calc or someone in college algebra, like my grandson, for example. All right, but anyway, let's get started here. So how do you find average rate of change, guys? Is basically, it's like doing the slope. Everyone knows the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? And that's basically what average rate of change is. It's the slope between two given points on a curve. So if you look at choice A, they're giving me 4. This will be my x sub 2, basically. And the 1 here will be my x sub 1. Okay? And so what we're going to do, of course, is g of 4. That's equivalent to y of 2, in other words. We're just going to plug the 4 in other words. So here's our math. We're going to do 4 minus 1 squared plus 5, right? Again, I'm just plugging the 4 in there for t. And 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 squared is 9. And the negative now kicks in. So negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. Now what we're going to do next is do g of 1. And see what happens there. So g of 1 is going to be my y1 in this case. And again, I'm going to plug 1 right in there. So I got negative of 1 minus 1 squared plus 5. Well, 1 minus 1 is 0. Squared and negative still 0. So 0 plus 5 is 5. Now, how would I find average rate of change? Is I'm going to take my y2 minus my y1 divided by my x2, remember x2 was 4, minus my x1 was 1. And in this case, I get negative 9 over 3, which is negative 3. Now, they want it to be a 0 rate of change. So A is definitely not the right answer. So what do we do now? Let's go on to choice B here. Now, we already did 4. Here was our work for g of 4. So I'm just going to do g of negative 2, and I'm going to be able to work from there. So g of negative 2, that's going to be my x1. Again, we already did our x2, y2 thing there. And that's a negative 2 there. So what's g of negative 2? I'm going to have negative of negative 2 minus 1 squared plus 5. Now, negative 2 minus 1, guys, is negative 3. Squared is 9. The negative makes it negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. Now see how both the 4 and the negative 2 gave me the same result, negative 4. So guess what? When I go back and I try to do negative 4 minus the other negative 4 over, in this case, 4 minus negative 2, this is going to be, that becomes a plus, minus negative is a plus, right? It's going to be a 0 over 6. So the answer is B. B is going to give me a 0 rate of change. All right? I know it's tough and confusing, guys. Welcome to college algebra, trig pre-calc. All right. Now, this one says, what is the average rate of change of this function g over this interval? So again, this is my x1. This is going to be my x2. That's the interval from negative 2 to positive 4. So what we're going to do? We're going to do g of 4 first. Remember, this is going to be my y2. All right. And I'm going to plug in positive 4, sorry. Notice that's negative 16 over 4 plus 7. Negative 4 plus 7 is 3. All right, now let's do the negative 2. G of negative 2, this is going to be my y1. So g of negative 2 is going to be negative 2 squared over 4 plus 7. Now, negative 2 squared is 4. The negative makes it negative 4 over 4 plus 7. That's negative 1 plus 7, which is 6. So, remember, if I'm doing slope, I'm going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? So, in our case, I'm going to do, follow the red, y2, which is 3, minus y1 is 6 over x2, remember our interval, x2 right there was 4, minus my x1 was negative 2. Watch your signs. So notice I get negative 3 over, and minus negative makes a plus 2. So I get a 6. And that's negative 1/2. So you would either type in negative 1/2, or you could type in negative 0.5. That's what I did, because 1/2 is 0.5. That was easier to type in, right? So I did negative 0.5. And that was the correct answer. Okay? What about this one here? This time they want to know where it's positive rate of change. So let's just start with A, and if A doesn't work, we'll go to B, and if B doesn't work, and so on, right? But let's start with A. So for A, our negative 1 is our x2. Our negative 4 is our x1. So we're going to do f of negative 1 first. That came from there. We're going to get negative 1 cubed minus 9 times negative 1. This is negative 1. This is positive 9. So I get an 8. All right, now let's do the negative 4 part. We're going to do f of negative 4. So we're going to plug that in up here, right? So negative 4 cubed minus 9 times negative 4. And that's going to be negative 64. That's going to be positive 36. So what is negative 64, plus 36? That's negative 28. Again, if you had to, you could use your calculator. So our average rate of change, remember, slope is always y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? So we're going to take our y2, 8, minus our y1, negative 28. That's going to be divided by our x2 was negative 1. Negative 1. Let me make sure that shows up there better. And we're going to minus from that x1, which was negative 4. So guys, right here, we're going to get a positive 36 because minus negative makes a plus 28 with the 8, right? And down here, that plus 4 with a negative 1 gives me a 3. So I'm going to get a positive value like positive 12. Guess what? That's a positive rate of change. I know my answer's got to be A, and they only wanted one answer. So logically, if you tried any one of those, you're not going to get a positive. You're going to get a negative or 0 average rate of change. So the answer for that one was A. Okay, let's just do one more. I promise you this one will go quicker. Here's my x1, my x2. They wanted the average rate of change again. Remember, eventually we're going to end up doing this. That's just slope, right? So let's first do the -1, our x2. So f of -1 is going to be this. And -1 squared is 1, so 1 plus 10 is 11. Let's do our other x. Our x1's -2. So we're going to plug in -2. -2 squared is 4, plus the 10 is 14. So we're ready to go, guys. We're going to take 11. We're going to minus the 14. We're going to take our x sub 2, -1. We're going to minus x sub 1, which is -2. Now this becomes a plus. So 2 minus 1 is simply 1. 11 minus 14 is -3. -3 over 1 is, of course, -3. So we're going to type in -3 into our box, and we're going to get it correct. And as you can see, guys, I did get 4 out of 4 right. Let me go back here. Pause it if you need to, guys. Average rate of change, guys, is same thing as slope. Okay? Now, just want to remind you guys, whenever you want to go to your assignment board, just find your name on your phone or computer. Usually it's in the top right corner of your screen. And you're going to be able to click on Learner Home or Assignments. Again, the phone works a little bit differently than a computer does. Of course, I have the teacher dashboard option, which you don't have since I'm a teacher. Okay? So just want to remind you of that. And in case your head wasn't in the sand, we're not going to be able to meet again, guys. I was actually been upset all day today, thinking about knowing that I was not going to go back to work and see your beautiful faces in my classroom for the rest of the school year. So, unless things change, I'll let you know. But as the days go on, I'm going to update you on what your current grade is in my class and what I expect you to do from here on out for me. Okay? But I hope you keep working steadily regardless in each of your classes. Remember, the goal here, guys, is to get ready for next school year now. All right? This school year pretty much is done, unless you got a really low grade and you're working to get it up. By the way, some of you do need to do that. Okay? But like I said, there's doubts even of there being maybe even summer school, the way things are going. And if there is summer school, it's probably going to be online. Who knows? A lot of information still up in the air. But basically, we're going to do this online Khan Academy, Google Classroom stuff to the end of May, guys. As long as you just keep up with our Google Classroom, you'll know exactly what I expect from each of you. All right? And I'll try to keep you motivated and working hard for me. Because, again, ultimately, guys, we're getting ready for next school year now. All right? We're getting ready to make sure we can be successful when we're back in a regular classroom working at it. Okay? So, anyways, I'll see you around.